Hey guys, Daniel here from ATEC Automation. I'm in our shop today with the machine that's equipped with our Nexus Pulse machine controller. This is a more budget-minded CNC machine controller that's aimed at small businesses and hobbyists, but it's still extremely capable. I'm going to show you how to use our Plate Solutions nesting software. We're going to import an image file, trace it, edit it with our built-in CAD tools to our liking, and then come out with a great finished product. I'm going to be using the image file that my buddy Joe made, who's a graphic designer. Shout out to Joe, thank you. He made a really cool logo for my amplifier repair and design company. This logo would be great for a store sign, wall decor, or even a scaled down version to be put on the front of an amplifier or something. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, so here we are in our Plate Solutions nesting software. And the first thing we're going to need to do is come up and click the Add Part button. A window is going to pop up for us to choose what thickness that our plate is going to be. We can see in the top left that we already have mild steel chosen as the material type. We could have chosen the material type and thickness up there before clicking Add Part as well. So we're working with 16 gauge mild steel here, so we'll find 16 gauge here in the list, choose it, and then click Select. When we do that, we'll get a Create/Import Parts window. Since we're going to be using a .png image file for our part, we're going to click Import Image. When we do, our image trace tool is going to load. This tool will turn our lines and details of our image into vectors that can be edited with our CAD tools. We can choose how much or how little detail we want by using this threshold slider in the top left. So we'll go ahead and click on Load Image, and then we'll navigate on our network to where our image file is stored, choose it, and click Open. Okay, now we have our image file loaded. This image has extremely well-defined lines, so we don't really need to mess with any threshold adjustments like you would have maybe with a photograph or something with more complicated or intricate lines. So our traced version of the image looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead and click OK. Then we'll be prompted with the desired size pop-up window, and we can edit the size of our imported part here. We'll just leave this at 3 feet and 5 inches for now, and we can adjust it later on if we need to in our part editor. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And if the import is successful, we'll see our part now in our parts list. So now we need to look at all the lines and everything contained in our part to make sure the right ones are listed as cuts or scribes, etc. if we have other tools on our machine like an air scribe. We'll also need to make some adjustments to the letters in our font and make sure that the end product has the parts of the plate remaining for the inside of our R's, A's, O's, and so on. So to start editing our part, we'll need to load our CAD tools by coming up and clicking Edit Part. Okay, so our CAD suite is loaded with our part, and now before we can edit anything, we'll need to explode all our operations into drawing elements. We can do this by coming over and clicking on this button with the several sticks of dynamite on it, or we can hit Ctrl-A on our keyboard. When we click it, we'll get a pop-up asking if we're sure we want to explode the drawing, and we'll click Yes. When we do, we should see the colors of our drawing elements change, and now we're able to select them for editing. First, in our case here, I want this logo to be round, so I'm going to select these cut lines that are in a square around the logo and delete them. So I'll come up and choose the Selection Mode tool by clicking on this button with the mouse symbol on it. We could also just hit Escape on our keyboard. And then I'll proceed to choose the cut lines that are in the square around the logo and hit Delete. Each time we do this, we'll get a prompt asking us if we're sure, and each time we'll click Yes. Okay, so now we need to edit the inside of some of these letters. Like I was saying earlier, we can see that if we just left it as is, in this case of the P letter here, we could cut out that middle section, but then if we also cut out the letter outline itself, we would just leave a big hole and people wouldn't understand what letter it was. So I'm going to use this tool here that's called Start, End, Mid Arc, and I'll connect the inside of the P here to the outside cut. So I'll choose a starting point, and then an ending point. And then I'm able to curve the connecting line some if I want to. Okay, so now that they're connected, I'm going to use the Trim tool by hitting T on the keyboard, and then I'll just click on the lines that I want to get rid of. So now we can see that our P letter is one continuous cut, and it's leaving the inside of the letter intact so that people could easily tell what letter it is. We can always check our work out by clicking the button with the blocks on it over to the left. This will build our drawing and just make it more easily visible without all the different colors. We can always check our drawing out in 3D view to confirm cuts after we build it by coming up to the top of the screen and clicking this button with the block on it that says Show 3D Part. So I'm going to do the same operations for all the letters that I need to, like R's, O's, and A's. Okay, so I've done all the connecting and trimming, so I'm going to build the part, and then I'm going to check it out in 3D view. So the final step before sending over our part to the machine is pre-kerfing the part. The kerf is the width of the material removed by the cutting process. When we pre-kerf in our software, we're offsetting the part profile in advance so the resulting part doesn't turn out too small, have too tight of edges, etc., since the kerf eats into the material. So we'll select our entire part, and then we'll come up and click this button with a K at the top of the screen. We'll get a kerf diameter pop-up window, and here we're going to select the tool we're cutting with and the amperage we want to use. So ours is already set to the correct ones here that we're going to use, so we would just click OK. But if you see that the value of the kerf diameter in the list and the value in this text box down here don't match, the kerf value that's in the text box is the one that's going to be used, so make sure you click on the tool in the list so that the text box will be filled with this value from the database. You can fill in the custom value if you want, but it's recommended to use the suggested values for the specific tool and amperage. So we'll just click OK. Okay, so that looks good, and our part is all edited and pre-kerfed. So to finalize and save our part, we'll come up to the top right of the screen and click the Done button. We'll get a pop-up asking if we want to save the changes to our part, and we'll click Yes, and we'll now be back in the main Plate Solutions window. If we see this K symbol here by our part in our parts list, that means our part is pre-kerfed. We're now ready to send our part over to the machine, so we'll click the button in the bottom left that says Run Selected Part. So here we are in our machine system software, and our part's been sent over from Plate Solutions. And here we can rotate our part, choose a start corner to cut from, or skew our plate if we need to. And we can also look at our tool parameters. And so we have our plate up on our machine, and we've driven the sight laser down to the starting corner that we chose. Now we just need to click the button that says Start Run. Now let's check out our results. We can see how the letters and lines turned out really well. There is a little bit of minimal slag on the back, but I'll just hit that with an angle grinder. The next step is off to painting and maybe finding some cool LED lights to put behind it. I actually used black truck bed liner to spray on the sign to give it some texture. Then I stuck on some self-adhesive LED strips around the perimeter of the letters on the back of the sign. Well, there you have it. That's how easy it is to go from an idea all the way to a great finished product using the Nexus Pulse machine controller. If you want to view all of our products or request a quote, head over to atechautomation.com. I'll put a link in the description below, and if you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe. It helps big time in the algorithm. Well, I'm gonna go hang the sign. See y'all later.